Okay, hi everyone. I just wanted to start with my face before I disappear for the presentation. My name is Janelle Mattis, and I teach primarily all of our drawing and painting courses here at Naperville North, as well as AP Art History. So I'm looking forward to getting started here this semester. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll get the beginning information out first, like how you can contact me. I'm going to be teaching painting 1 and painting 3 at the same time. Currently, we don't have any 2s or 4s in the course, but I'm used to teaching this class with 4 different classes all at the same time. My contact information is here. Best way to get a hold of me is going to be through email, but you could also give me a call and that will go to my voicemail. During a normal school year, I'm never in my office. It's very, very small, so I expect to spend even less time there. So like I said, email is going to be best. With both groups of students, I'm going to be really focusing on the artistic process. So teaching students how to think like an artist. So we're going to learn various methods and approaches for planning a work of art, how to brainstorm, find imagery, sketch out your compositions, your ideas, how to compose, how to select and practice different kinds of materials or medias, create our artwork. Then we're going to be critiquing and refining. This is something we do throughout the entire process. So we critique our plans. We critique our work in the middle, the beginning, middle, the end. And then we're going to be doing a lot of self-reflection. And the whole point of this process is so that students learn how to get better at expressing themselves through their artwork. And so they should be able to see some growth. A great way to be able to show growth is going to be through how we turn in our artworks. And so each student is going to be making a process portfolio. All the elements of things that they turn in will be turned in this way. So they'll show their planning visually through brainstorming, list, their research, any photos they might have taken, any sketches or practice they might have done, as well as process images. So they'll take a photo probably every single day that they make a work of art. They might not turn it in every single day, but they'll turn it in several times a week, and then they'll submit their final work of art. For painting 1, I had to change the curriculum just a little bit from how I normally teach the class, because if I sent home acrylic or oil paint, it's very messy, could ruin furniture or clothing or, heaven forbid, carpet or bedding. And so we're going to use watercolor because it can be dried and re-wet and reused over and over. So students are going to learn basic techniques, so different ways to create textures, to create value. The hope is to get them to use technology for good, not evil. And so hopefully I'll be able to take them away from it and give them a lot of asynchronous time to work, but also if they have a question during class, they can actually get a hold of me by asking questions. I'll be still on the Zoom. They'll learn about color mixing, how to make colors, how to overlap colors, how to layer colors to make new colors through this transparent media of watercolor. They'll do different styles of watercolor. They'll make illustrations. They'll do things that are much more realistic by how do I mix a more realistic color. They'll do experimentation in watercolor, so through portraiture. And then if we get to come back to school, then I'll try to incorporate some other materials. So these are some of the things we've done in the past, like acrylic transfers, abstraction with oil paint, portrait with oil paint, landscape with oil paint. But if we don't get a chance to do this, hopefully your student will be able to take painting 2. And what I would just do is flip the class. So we would be able to learn how to do acrylic and oil. I wouldn't force them to do watercolor again. Okay. We also have a painting 3 student. And so in painting 3, it's the same curriculum as my drawing 3. They just get a little bit more choice in material. For the first 4 to 6 weeks, they're going to be really experimenting with different media, subject matter, composition. How do I express ideas through inanimate objects? And then we're going to be working thematically based. So I'll give students a prompt and then they get to choose what kind of material they want to use. So typically painting students want to paint in acrylic or watercolor or oil. And so at this time, when this student wants to work in other materials, I'll be able to get more materials out to them, or they can use their own materials. So for supplies, there's actually 2 lists of supplies. One of them comes in their art pack, so that's the one listed right here. And so I'm going to show the painting one. The painting 3, you can go ahead and look at it later. But this is our art PPE, so our art personal production equipment. And so some of these supplies are things that students are going to be able to keep. So students are going to be able to keep their watercolor sketchbook. So I got them all a pad of watercolor paper they can keep. They're all going to get to keep their brush sets. And their brush sets, I intentionally bought them so that they can use it for acrylic or watercolor. They're not so great for oil. There's another set for that. And then I gave them a lot of different surfaces to paint on, as well as how to plan their artworks. So they're going to be able to use these materials to make their artwork. And then there's a few things that they're going to return to me at the end of the semester in good condition. If something is broken or lost, then they're going to have to pay a replacement fee, just like they would with a missing or a damaged textbook. And so they're going to have to return the watercolor palette, the masonite board, as well as the portfolio that they were given. A lot of the materials that they paid for, like the watercolor and the brushes, the sketchbook and the brushes, as well as all of these things, are well over what you spent in the fee. So they're going to get a lot for their money for this course. I shouldn't say well over, but I did definitely spend the entire budget on these things that they're going to be able to keep. So going back to the other list, sorry, my presentation is in front of my face. There's some supplies that they're going to need to get. And so these things are pretty much things that they can find at a big box store. They're not things that are very specific. They're going to need their sketchbook from Drawing 1. And it should be at least 8 by 10. If they need a new one, they are going to have to purchase one. They just need some number 2 pencils, a pencil sharpener, a ruler. I think I might have included a ruler, but they might need a ruler, paper towels and water cups, and some blue painter's tape would be really helpful for them for masking out their work. And then these other things on the list are things that they would need in school. Some of them they might be good to have right now, like storage for their paintbrushes. You can get a fancy art storage kit. You can also get just a simple pencil box for storing their paintbrushes so that they don't lose them. A glass jar or a cup works really well with keeping the bristles up. So the next thing is how students are going to be assessed. So most of their work is going to have different elements to it. There's things like color and line. That's all going to be about 15% of their grade. And then how they organize their composition. How do I arrange my space? They're going to also learn the different crafts, how to have good craftsmanship, how to use the materials and the techniques properly. And so they'll be assessed on that. And then the execution of their ideas through their media, their subject, and their composition. And then they're also going to be assessed on their ability to assess. So being critical of themselves, not to be mean to themselves, but also to learn personal growth. Because that's the whole expectation that I have, is that they can see that they're developing as an artist, and they can see their skills getting better because they're reflective, and then they try to they practice more and try to get better. There's plenty of paper in their watercolor set, so they can try something more than once if they make a mistake. So I want them to learn from their mistakes. For the breakdown of their grade, the first part is just their overall grade. That's standard across the school. But how that grade for that coursework is determined is 90% is for their artwork, and then 10% is their formative. That's their practice. It's very low risk. So we're going to do a lot of practice before we actually do real artworks that they can then put on the wall. And so they're going to have a chance to redo this until they can feel comfortable and confident to move on. Even when they do their summative work, so their actual paintings, they always have a chance to make something better. So I always give students the ability to resubmit something for a higher grade. The school policy is 80% or below, but all of us art teachers really truly believe that students should be making their artwork for them and to improve it. So if they have a 90% and they want to do something to raise their grade, to me, the grade is irrelevant, but if it matters to the students, or if they really just want to make their work better, I always suggest that they do so. So if you have any, if you need to get a hold of me, feel free to contact me at my email. And I hope to get to know you throughout the semester. Feel free to come back at parent-teacher conferences. Thank you.